Let's go, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the LA Poker Roundup. As always, I am your host, Ty Dobberton, along with my co-host, Derek Kwan. Whoa, Derek, I don't hear anything. I don't know if that's me or if that's you.
Yeah, I put it on mute.
There we go.
I am here, and welcome to everyone.
He's not in his car this week. He just decided to be on mute. All right, it is May 20th, 2025, and this is episode number 86 of the LA Poker Roundup. And we are in the thick of ring hunting season here in LA. We are dead smack in the middle, maybe just a tiny bit past the middle of the circuit event, the last circuit event of the year here in the season at Commerce. So we've got a whole lot that happened this week down at town. So we figured we'll just kind of run it through for you. I spent my entire weekend there for the most part. Derek spent his entire week there. Frank, as you all know, spent his whole week there. The newly minted Commerce Pro is really making a name for himself there. He's making that team look good, cashing absolutely everything. So we are going to go on through and just walk through the week for those of you who missed it, or recap for those of you who were there. And what better way to check out the action? What's up, Sammy? Cash game dealer at the bike now. Oh boy. Check out the action, but through the LA Poker Roundup Instagram account. Obviously, there are some other places. The Commerce blog, the Poker Org site is doing live coverage. They're all doing a great job doing coverage. But if you really just want to know who won the events, you want to know the results, this is the easiest way to do it. You got to dig through so many posts at these other places and the other sites. So that's what I want to know. I want to know results. I want to see results. So let's talk about what happened since the last week. So we talked last week. The opener had just been wrapping up in some of the one days. Now we have results from the second multi-day event of this series, the event number 4, the $400 Monster Stack, which had 1,174 entries, which is pretty amazing to me because that guy started on Monday, didn't he? Monday, Tuesday, or did he start Sunday, Monday?
Yeah,
Was it?
Monday,
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday were the day one. So, when it's ring time, people find days off.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Here is the final table. The ultimate winner of the ring was Hattori Lopez, taking home $57,000. Second place, Shengan Zheng. Third place, Juan Lomeli. Fourth place, Sofia Umarova, smashing crusher here in LA. If you play around, I remember one time she, I think, won back-to-back big events at the bike. Fifth place, Carlo Rodriguez. Sixth place, Mike Nia. Needs no introduction, won the LAPC main event. We've been talking about him foul tabling a lot lately. Seventh place, Mark Robinson. Look at all these little rocket ships we have on the top. This is what I like to see. The only problem is that one of them isn't in that first place spot. Eighth place, Lang Lee. Ninth place, Luis Reynolds Jr. And 10th place, Alex Massman. So congratulations to everyone who cashed this thing. So
Nice work.
being a weekday event, I did not get to play this guy. So the last thing I played was the last day one on Sunday this week. And then that week before, the last thing I played was... it was day 2 insert. So did I go back on Sunday? I must have.
Have you played the one day on Sunday?
Yeah, I must have come back and played the one day on Sunday. I feel like I had to. Yeah, I did. I came back and played the one day on Sunday. So that's the last thing I played. You played this thing, though, right, Derek? How was it?
It was good. Not great for me, but it was overall very well structured. Monster stack, obviously, you start with a lot of chips. Felt really comfortable all the way through. But yeah, and obviously things have been being run super well at the Commerce since Kevin's been there.
Yeah, definitely tight ship being run there. Really fun. Good to see the coverage folks poking around. So no fun stories popping out from that one, huh? That was a 2-day. I think, correct me wrong, Frank, you're in the chat. Did you cash this one too? I mean, I'm just assuming you cashed every event pretty much in this thing, in the series. For those of you who don't know, Frank is probably the best. We talked about it when he was on the other week. But he's probably the best satellite player, definitely top 5, top 10 in LA, and he's been proving it all week long. He has been cashing probably at like a 70% clip in every satellite that has been on to offer so far, which is freaking amazing. And he's been bagging on his day ones like crazy. He bagged in the opener, he bagged in the main event and won. So Frank is having one heck of a series. Love to see it. Go get him, Frank. I hope you're there playing right now and doing something. I don't know what event's happening right now, but if it's a Saturday, he's probably in the money. So We will probably see Frank's name and picture around here. Spoiler alert! For some other fun stuff that was going on down there at the Commerce. All right, so moving on. Oh, what do you
As
got?
for the monster stuff, I definitely, was one of those ones where I fired like way too many bullets. It was really the housewarming and the monster stack that kind of killed me. This series.
That's funny because usually, like in LAPC, I joke about it, but it's pretty true. The opening event, like the cheapest multi-day event that they do, that's
Yeah,
usually one where I get absolutely buried. Like I
yeah,
remember one year it was like a $250 or $300 buy, and I think I bought in like 11 times. And I don't
yeah.
know, is it the cheapness of it? Is it just like you feel like it's just fun? Is it because everyone else is putting the money in? Who knows? It's,
I mean, I'm definitely not trying to fire as many bullets as I can for sure.
I might have gone all in dark once or twice in the ones I'm
Yeah.
talking about, but I win half of those.
The problem is I've been playing poker like literally every single day and everything is like a blur where I don't even remember where one bad beat begins and the next one ends. Um,
Might be time for a break, man. Take a day, as they say, take a day off, touch some grass.
yeah, it could be. But the nice thing is also with the WSOP, you do get the 2x min cashes. So you get, a bunch of money back when you actually do cash. And I have been basically cashing in everything. So I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now and I played, what does this look like here?
How many bullets you fire this series so far?
Three, four, 8 events. I've cashed in 7 of them and made 2 final tables, and I think I'm up like a grand, which is really sad. But it's because I
For two
bombed
final
so
tables,
many,
huh?
yeah, and I bombed like so many bullets at the housewarming and the monster stack, and I also fired a bunch of the main. So it's just yeah, you know how it goes.
Well, I played 3 events and I only cashed one of them, so you're killing me. I think I'm down a little bit more than a grand, so it's tiring, but hey, it's a profit.
Yeah, it definitely is a profit. But no, overall, like, this series has been fantastic. Also love, all the streaming love that we're getting, as well.
Yeah, we'll
So yeah,
pop that stream up in a little bit. So it's awesome that we have so many great events available. So let's move on to the next event of the week. Event number 5, the $600 horse event. So that ended with George Alba taking down the ring, beating Ramon Roshin. So that would be final table. George gets 12,000. Ramon gets about 8,000. Third place, I'm assuming you pronounce that high. Valeropali. Fourth place, Sammy Beishahead. Dealer Sammy back in the house. Look out, guys. Fifth place, Shane Friedlander. Sixth place, Frank Iglesi. Seventh place, Marshall Regier. Eighth place, Jay Hong. Ninth place, Wissam Gashon. An honorable mention, not quite final table unofficially. Jeremy Hambone trying to defend his ring, got all the way to 10th place in this event that had 85 entries, which is quite good for a mixed
oh
event.
yeah,
So, congrats. Well done, Jeremy. Very, very respectable showing, trying to get that defense.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure this is a really tough field too. But congrats to George and the rest of the final table here, and definitely Sammy, man. That dude is just like a no limit monster, and just decided he wanted to just dabble in
Plays
some mixed
everything.
games, and yeah,
Yeah, I think I think I see him in a lot of mixed game tournaments. He definitely enjoys it. So, all right,
yeah.
event number 6, the 1100 No Limit Hold'em. This was also a multi-day, if I recall, at Commerce.
It's a single day.
Oh, it was a single day? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So this one had a nice little field of 263 entries, of which Derek may have been 2 or 3, I'm guessing. But he did cash this one. I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones he did amazing at. As you can see, looking down, it was all worth it. Derek, final table. Spoiler alert. So, congratulations here. And by the way, look at this final table. It's quite a stacked field. Congratulations to Morgan Petro. He came into town, took down this event for 56.5K, and it looks like, if I'm reading Frank's cryptic code here correctly, his 6th ring. And also, I guess he was on Team Broccoli, which doesn't matter because this wasn't the main event. But anyways, congratulations to Morgan on his 6th ring. Second place, local blaster Andrew Ostapchenko. He's one of our local poker exports going all around the country and probably world to take down these things. Third place, Danette Smith. Fourth place, David Ubedov, young David as he's sometimes called in the round of these parts. He was from Team Potato. Ninth and fifth place, Milad Dimitri. Dimitri. Sixth place, Robert Elliott. Seventh place, LA Poker Roundup host Derek Kwan. Eighth place, Jeremy Becker. And ninth place, Andrew Cha. So got a couple notable blasters in here and a couple folks from Vegas, and nice mix here. Once again, nice group of blasters here. But you guys, we got to stop giving these rings away. Got to stop letting folks come into
Yeah.
town and take our rings away. This is getting
Absolutely
silly.
sick field too. Farahi just missed the final table. Yeah, and there was a lot of really good pros just down the stretch. It was really, really crazy field.
Yeah.
Not only was it a crazy field, it was like very, obviously like densely pro packed because it was a 1K.
Yep.
But getting down to the final three tables, it was just still completely stacked. It was crazy.
How do you feel the 263 entries for a 1-day 1K is quite good. How do you feel the unique entries were? Do you think you had average rebuy was like 2 entries a player, 1.5 entries a player? You think you had 150 unique players in there, 200 unique entries in there?
It was a turbo. It was 20-minute levels.
Ooh, okay.
Because they're trying to get through it in one day.
Yep.
But I actually felt like there were a lot of uniques for some reason. I wasn't like staring at the cage seeing who was going up there
Sure.
to rebuy, but it felt like a lot of people.
I think if you get a sense for like the maximum number of tables they had, that can help. But
Yeah, I wasn't counting it,
That's
but it
fair,
just
that's
felt
fair.
like a lot of people because it felt very, very dense, like the room.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, it was even for a turbo-ish structure, it wasn't that bad because again, they don't really skip any levels.
Yep.
Things they get a little bit dicey kind of towards the end when we're like 18 BB average, right? But like the design of it to try to get us through in one day was good. It did its thing.
Yeah. How many chips did you start with? 30 or 40K?
Uh, 40, 30? Maybe it was 30.
Maybe 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the World Series versions of a turbo I really enjoy because it is a very smooth run out to the end when you don't
Yeah.
skip any levels, and it is 100% better to have a very smooth and gradual, or
Yeah. Right.
just a really smaller step as you go through an event than to have these big jumps, So
Yeah.
it's way better. Like if online, it would be best if the blinds went up like 0.1 every hand, honestly.
Right. Right.
As opposed to what we get here in LA where everyone wants a lot of chips and then they love, oh, I need longer levels, but that means every jump is massive. You end up with like
Yeah.
doubling the blinds in 2 levels, right? It's just that's terrible strategically, terrible for variance. So this is definitely way more preferable. When you're comparing structures, you definitely need to look at that. All right, let's move on then. Oh wait, I did have one other question, or not question. I have one other comment to ask you. It was a turbo. How do you feel? Was there a huge difference in play for this 1K as opposed to that monster stack? You fired a lot fewer bullets, it sounds like, in this thing. So like,
I mean, the caliber player was like an order of magnitude better or something,
so
I
what is
suppose.
it that kept you from firing as many bullets in this turbo as you did in a 400 flight?
Oh,
Luck?
yeah, I mean, I guess it was just kind of the cards, like the two the two other 2-day events. I definitely was playing a little tilty to fire that many bullets. Um, but I probably was taking a little bit more risk than I was in this one. Because in this one, I don't know, it just felt like a grind all the way through, even with the turbo structure, it just felt like a grind.
Yeah.
Really, really good players. I had to basically pull out every single tool I had in my toolbox to think through like all these different spots and situations. So it just didn't really feel like, I was kind of blasting off with anything really.
But you grinded your way to the
And
final table.
yeah, I was just like basically trying to play like super solid all the way through, which is basically what happened. Again, like just tough players all the way down. And I was actually like pretty short again, like going through the middle stages where I think I hung around like 15 to 20 big blinds for like hours and hours and hours. And then getting down to the final three tables, I had a couple of little like mini runs where I kind of spun up my chips. Uh, um, I think I was probably chip leading at one point, but I lost a couple of big pots, and then we got down to the final table, and I was feeling really good. I mean, I was tired, but I was feeling really good about things. And then basically in just 2 hands, this player was a little bit spicy, I guess, out of all the players at the final table, ripped for like 15 or 16 bigs under the gun, which is kind of ridiculous play with ICM the way it was. But I also could tell that this was a person that would probably be doing it with a bunch of hands he shouldn't. Like he'd just probably just take like an ace and just rip it, thinking that he's supposed to do that with 15 bigs from under the gun. and we were seven-handed at this point. I had ace 10 off on the button, and it was actually still a really close decision for me because I just wasn't sure. I hadn't put in enough hours with this person. But then I ultimately decided to call. He had ace 7 suited, and flopped the 7, and that like basically crippled me down to like 4 bigs or 5 bigs or something. But it was a really big pot. I don't think it was a chip leading pot, but it definitely would have put me in that top three. And then a couple of hands later, I got, actually it was almost like an orbit later where I got nothing, 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 and then I finally got ace king. I ripped it under the gun. Andrew called, or actually he went over the top with probably like 10 bigs with ace 9 suited, which is pretty standard. Flopped the flush draw, river to flush, and then busted me. So it was really like frustrating to get all that way, grind all that way for those two hands to happen the way they did.
Yeah.
But it's poker.
Yep.
And I mean, to be honest, like Frahi, I busted Frahi. He had aces. It was a raise jam. I rejam with jacks, and then I had him covered, and so I busted him from the tournament. He only had like probably like 7 or 8 bigs. Wasn't a huge pot, but I definitely had some hands go my way too on the way to the final table.
For sure. For sure, yeah. And, when you were talking a little bit about the grind, I remember something you said just this last Sunday. You made a comment like, I should treat every bullet like it's my last bullet. Is that something you're serious about? You going to try and make any
Yeah.
adjustment? Because it sounds like you were playing this 1K like it was your last bullet, but not so much the 400s.
No, it wasn't. I definitely wasn't playing this one like the last bullet, but my last bullet of the main, I was playing like it was my last bullet, and like basically what happened, actually almost through all the bullets of the main, I was extremely card dead, and anytime I tried to enter a pot, it was like somebody would outflop me or outturn me.
Mm.
And then that very last bullet was like an extreme version of this, but I actually lasted like almost all the way over to the bubble. Um, and it wasn't like just being like a total nit, but I was just being very, very careful, thinking through my spots, and it just felt like I was playing really well. Whereas typically I'm always like so like critical about myself, but I was like playing really, really well in that last bullet. And I think just have the sort of freeze out mentality on top of my head was making me just like play like super solid.
Hmm.
Um, on the other hand, though, I'm probably not taking some of the risks that I would have taken. That might give me a bigger stack to kind of compete, for a podium finish like I might do otherwise. So I suppose there's a balance, but maybe some sort of learning or education I can take from the way that I played and try to apply that a little bit more, especially when I'm tilting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I feel like I took away a couple personal lessons over the weekend myself. Maybe we'll talk about them later, but hopefully I can remember them in time. Been very tired lately. Been very busy with all the other things going on in life aside from poker. But no,
Oh yeah, and I want to just give a shout out to Adam in the chat. Thank you, buddy. It was nice meeting you as well. Out in the patio, it was kind of cool. So I just saw one of my last breaks. Actually, it was the last break before I busted.
mm,
Yeah, I went out to the
so
patio
Adam's
and
bad
kind of
luck,
went
you're
hanging
saying?
out. Maybe it might be. No, not these people. These people seem like all good luck, so I don't think it was related.
All
But
right.
I met Adam, met a bunch of folks. They were super nice, fans of the pod, and I'm fans of them. So yeah, nice to meet you, buddy.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So let's head on back. Check out event number 7. Now, this was one of the one-day, single-day ring events, a $400 buy-in. And, man, they put 30K guarantees on these $400 buy-ins, but that was comical because I think every
Yeah, it's
single one
comical.
at least tripled the guarantee. And this one,
The
this
first
one,
place was 30.
this one had 494 entries and a prize pool of 163,000 on a 30K guarantee. Like, what that 30K guarantee is just like, that's embarrassing to say. It's hilarious, but this
I
is
mean,
awesome. This is just awesome, right?
if you're getting that, like, imagine you stuck a 150 guarantee on there, like the people that would have,
I
you know
don't
what I
know.
mean? Like, I mean, it's
This was just good. This is just great to see. It's great to see these
yeah.
numbers. This is fantastic. So this one also had a pretty blaster reg filled final table. Maybe not numbers, but like these are some of our top blasters here, and also just outside, and other folks hitting the caching this thing. Tons of them. It was really cool. I didn't necessarily get to be there, but let's see. Congratulations to Cindy Spear. Cindy got, I don't see a ring next to her, so I guess this must be her first ring. Congratulations for taking home more than the guarantee for first place, $30,449. That's incredible. Second place, Pablo Quintaros, taking home over $20,000, Third place, Roger Smith, 14,000. Fourth place, Blaster Extraordinaire Robert Gill, 10K. Way to go. What's that? I'm not sure what picture Frank put there next to the Blaster, but he's got something. Fifth place, Justin Umet. Sixth place, Alfredo Pacheco. Seventh place, Sean Lindsay. And eighth place, Nancy Matson. Ninth place, Robert Lupo. And 10th place, Chris Kelly. So congrats to all of them. It looks like you cashed this one as well, Derek, down in 62nd. A whole bunch of other local blasters have cashed this as well, with Elvin getting 11th. And remember that for later, because Derek has been cashing everything, which means he's been getting points for the Player of the Year. But as you know, Elvin is the one who's neck and neck with him. Getting 11th is going to be a big gain to getting some points back on that. And we have some other surprise announcements to bring up when we get back to our Player of the Year later. So
yeah, I don't even remember this tournament, but I guess I'll trust Frank's reporting that I did take 62nd.
It was a one day. You cashed it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fantastic. Can you imagine just like waking up, going to play a 30K tournament, and then winning it for actually 30K? Like you're just trying to guess how much can I make from this possibly?
Like you just confused so many noobs, so many people who don't play tournaments now think that 30K guarantee means that's what first place is going to be.
It means what first place is. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to circuit event number 9, the $400 30K guarantee, another one day. This one had 407 entries. Final prize pool 134K.
Man,
crazy. Absolutely crazy. Winner was Bart Timmer from the Netherlands, who defeated Joshua Yoon heads up. And for first place, Bart got 26,000, a little over 26,000 in the ring. And second place, Joshua got 17.5. No ring. Also, at this final table, Yaniv Livnat, Don Jin Lee, Sarubi. These sound like a bunch of out-of-towners. I don't recognize these folks.
Sounds like a gangster.
Right, Don. Fifth place, Lino Thomas. Sixth place, George Halu. Oh, Commerce legend George got 6th. Nice. Way to go, George. Seventh place, Azije Su. Eighth place, Albin Bayo. Not Elvin, Albin. Albin with the, I believe this is a picture of his Apple Watch here next to him. Ninth place, Michael Sosa. And 10th place, Preston Patz, if you recall, the triple Remington winner from the LAPC. Other blasters cashing. Frank cashed this one as well. And I'm seeing Quack's name a lot. He seemed like he cashed just about everything here as well. I don't see your name listed. You must have been busy, Derek, playing in maybe some other event. Right.
I did not cash in one event, and this might have been the one.
I don't know.
That
one day?
This one?
That one day? Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Moving on to event number 10, which is another $400 30K guarantee. This one, 439 entries. Wow. This is like heaven for one day. People who love these one days, these $300 one days, this circuit's got to be absolute heaven. I think
literally
these all
every one of
at
these
4 p.m., right?
Yeah, literally every one of these is 30K for first place.
Yeah, like if you're into one-day tournaments, if you just like to play these dailies and then these weekend things, just freaking come down here. And you know what? Spoiler alert also, like a lot of these folks, sure, maybe they're in town for the Player of the Year, for the Tournament of Champions, but keep your eye on the closing event, right? The closing event is, I think it's a $500 buy-in, 100K, one-day guarantee. And look, if these $400 buy-in 30K guarantees are almost getting to 160, 170,000, what about the one that's actually 100K guarantee? What about the one that's
I wonder why they made that a
one day?
I wonder why they made that a one day.
I don't know. They just didn't want to run anything on Sunday, but
I feel like it's gonna
buckle up. It's gonna get to because it's gonna be huge. They're gonna get like 500 entries, and this thing's gonna get massive.
It's gonna go very, very late. I think it's starting at 10 a.m. which is good.
That's good.
But it's gonna go very late.
Yep, it's a long weekend though. We can stay up late. It's all good. Just have to get rested before we get in there. This event started at 4 and ended at 4 a.m. This one day,
ready for that tournament.
This one day, so you just late, Reg. So this, like I said, they start at 4, ended at 4, and it is a bit of a turbo, so still went on. Apparently, the winner, Mr. Howard Mash, is the 2019 World Series of Poker Senior Event bracelet winner. So congrats to Mr. Howard Mash, who took home 28 grand for first place in this one day, and he defeated Akshat Bajaj. who took home 18,500 for his efforts. I don't see a lot of blaster symbols here, so apparently we didn't have such a great showing in this final table. So apparently finishing in first place got MASH also a seat into one of the 1Ks this summer, so that's interesting. I wonder if that's been happening for all of the ring events in our series. We'll have to look into that. Maybe it's because our series is in this weird spot where it's still this season, but we've already had our Tournament of Champions. Who knows?
It could be.
Yeah, it could be. We'll have to look into that. Third place, Andrew Banoob. Fourth place, William Stetson. Fifth place, Hessam Babazadeh. Sixth place, Kelvin Johnson. Seventh place, Clementi Granovsky. Eighth place, Glenn Stout. Ninth place, Daniel Lay. 10th place, Brenda Aldridge. So Blasters did not make the final table, but
no Blasters. That's really crazy.
Yes.
That's actually nuts that there's actually not one Blaster in this.
Yep. Other people, though, some of the notables who did cash, Mike Ong got 63rd, Preston Pat's 44th, Frank's, including Ari and the Blasters for some reason, 42nd, Ken Morrison 39th, Leah Nemi 29th, Kwok again 25th, and Wild Gill got 15th. So congrats to all the LA folks who did cash, even though we didn't final table. We still had to get a ring, man. There's not many rings coming our way here. So This week also had the Tournament of Champions going on, which is why all these names are even harder, which I didn't think was possible. LA has plenty of difficult names, but they got even harder to say because everyone's in town for the Tournament of Champions. Unfortunately, that means there weren't a ton of LA players in it because we have so few chances to win rings here. No online bracelets, no online rings, only 2 series a year. Got to travel to Vegas. But plenty of people did come in. There was a pretty decent turnout still. I don't see the numbers here, but I believe it was over 400. And the winner was Kevin Lee, who qualified by winning a No Limit Hold'em / PLO event at a World Series of Poker International Circuit in Calgary, apparently. So congratulations. He takes home $200,000 for first. He came into the final table second to last in chips. So what a run, what a grind, what a performance.
Yeah, nice work, man.
All right. Second place in the Tournament Champions was Sean Rice. Third place, Don Siaglo. Fourth place, Dan Sepiol. Fifth place, Karapet Galstian. Sixth place, Maxwell Young. Seventh place, Yang Shu. Eighth place, Kevin Lemmer. And ninth place, Scott Stewart. Ya boy Stu. So look at that. We had 2 recent WPT champs get into the end of the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, Scott Stewart, man. This guy just shows up for the big ones and just final tables, man. What a player.
Has a great time doing it. All right. Mixed games. Coming back to mixed games. Event number 11, the 400 Pot Limit Omaha. That got 227 entries. So holy cow. PLO is popular. 227 entries. That made a prize pool of almost 75,000. So congratulations to those guys. Holy cow. The winner was Sterling Lopez, who defeated Franco Tucci to take home 17,000 for his third PLO circuit ring. Within 8 months. So holy cow, this guy's really good at PLO. All right. Franco took home over 11,000 for his efforts. And third place, Joshua Cummings. Fourth place, Neil Corcoran. Fifth place, Gabriel Talef. Sixth place, Lorette Thurber. Seventh place, Masoud Escandiare. Mike, who final tables this circuit event in his very first PLO tournament ever. Nice job, Mike. Eighth place, Jonathan Moore Youssef. And ninth place, Abdul Sharifi.
Yeah, nice work, everyone. And, I got to give a shout out to Frank. Obviously, we're always giving a shout out to Frank, but he's really doing his homework on the reporting and the background on these players and what they're doing. So good job, man.
Yep. You can tell Frank has a background in very important and very thorough research. Yeah. And then speaking of Frank, here's another satellite-y one. But don't get too excited. He did not win a ring. This was a little bit of fun these guys had super late into the night. He won a satellite into event number 15, which I believe he already had a seat into for being a Commerce Pro. But, Frank's just taking all these satellite seats away from the rest of us. But congrats. He wins this seat. And they decided, hey, you know what? Let's do a winner's photo anyways, just for fun, with the Poker Org folks, with the staff, with the lights. They look like they're having a great time. Congratulations. This is probably Frank's fifth satellite win of the series over here. So, man, that is I gotta hand it to him. He knows how to he knows where he's making his profit, and he's just absolutely
Yeah,
printing. And congrats, hey,
yeah.
Ken there. It was Ken's birthday this last week too. Another LA blaster, great guy. Happy birthday, Ken.
Yeah, it's nice. They brought him over a bottle of wine, a big cheesecake, which shared with a whole bunch of people in the room. So, also kudos to the Commerce for taking care of Ken.
Yeah, I don't think that Frank got that picture on here. It was in a story. It's no longer here. So, way to go. Congrats.
Yeah,
All right.
Frank is such a grinder, dude. Like, not only, I mean, obviously he's like a satellite master, but you can just tell from how rapidly, actually, he's been in the top 5 or top 10 in the POY the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's actually, we thought it was going to be a two-person race between me and Elvin, but that's not true.
Yep.
Frank,
He's been
I mean, I feel
smashing
like
it.
we did to calculate the numbers because we're like all three of us are like right there.
Yeah, it'd be nice, and unfortunately, just haven't had the time. And well, there's one more event to talk about real quick, and then we'll switch over to talk about Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been watching, get over there, check out. Oh, Frank's yeah, get over there, check out the circuit. It looks like Frank is double queuing. I think he might be. No, no. All right. I was in this chat earlier. Go check out the circuit live stream. The final table of the main event is happening right now. They are currently down to heads up play, it looks like. And we've got Luis versus Art as the final two. And I did not watch the whole thing, but I did tune in on my way back, and we know our our buddy Adam, Mister, what's his name again? Mister Two Deuce or Mister
Well,
Seven something. Anyways, or Mister So Rare NBA Squad, if you depending on where you see him. Mister Adam Swan came in as the second to bottom chip stack, and he managed to ladder his way up to third. So congratulations, Adam. Fantastic job there. And look at this. We had Phil Locke making the final table. This is his second. He final tabled the opener, and he final tabled this, the two biggest events of the series. Phil is,
yeah.
I don't know if he ever went anywhere, but he is back. He is killing it. LA folks, you guys, we got to figure out a way to stop this train, or he's just going to take us for everything we're worth here, man. So
Oh
Phil's
yeah,
just showing
and
up and winning
here's a funny
everything.
story too. So I had Phil Locke and Rigby at my table, and Rigby did the dirty diaper
Yep.
on Phil Locke and busted his ace king with 3 deuce offsuit.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Pretty funny. Yeah, I actually put up a little video, but I didn't say it was Phil. That got busted, but yeah, it was cool actually seeing it in person
Yeah.
because we get to see it on TV all the time.
So go ahead and check out that stream. You can watch the final battle, the final heads-up battle here. Of course, everyone, if you're unfamiliar with Art, how you pronounce this name? Papizan. Art is a local legend cash game grinder, and he just occasionally steps out to play in the tournament and maybe win the thing. So,
Yeah,
it's a guy we don't usually have to deal with because the stakes just aren't interesting for him. But I guess the main event, 2 million guaranteed, and a ring just were too much for even him to ignore. And then you
yeah.
can also follow.
I'm extremely disappointed I didn't make day 2 of that main. It just
Yeah,
definitely
you and
hurts.
me both.
Yeah.
You can also follow the updates here on Poker Orb. They're doing a great job. Yeah. So let's talk about the main a little bit then before we switch over to Player of the Year. Tough main for sure. For some reason, each of my weekends have had a horrible theme of like if I believed in fortune tellers and they had told me which pair to avoid each weekend and they were right, like you could have changed my mind because opening weekend on the opener, if someone had told me to just fold pocket kings every time I saw them, I would have probably bagged. Might have bagged twice. I mean, I busted 4 times in different tournaments on different bullets with pocket kings. It
That's
was
crazy.
wild. And then in the main event, I just realized the other night, I only played 2 bullets because I made it past Reg both times. Luckily, saving the money, but tens did me in, man. First time, jammed the tens with like 13, 14 bigs and just lost the race. And the second time, tens I got scammed by ace five, not 5 high board. Um, really killed me. So both times, just tens both times this weekend, kings 3, 4 times last weekend is wild. But yeah, I'll give a quick recap of mine since I've only got 2. I think you fired many more days. I did not play the very first day. building up a little extra work hours to try and anticipate maybe making a day two, so I could take that day off a little easier. But that was unnecessary because we didn't bag. So I came in and played Saturday. Turnout was fantastic. Everything was run great. It was really cool. As you were saying, everything is going ship shape. I really didn't get anything going all that first day though. I kind of hung out at 40, 60K like all day long, even through registration. Hung out there. Finally got down to like 35 and one a flip, so I actually had like almost 80K, and made it and was surviving and surviving to around 40 off the money when I got those tens, and the blinds had me down to, like I said, 13, 14, somewhere in give or take 15 bigs. Got it all in against Ace King, and that was that. So it kind of felt like you were saying, it just felt like a grind all day, but then, you know, just poof, all in one instant. Day two, Day two was a lot more fun. I was having a lot more fun. Playing kind of the normal game, was at a really pretty decent table. Felt like a kind of a normalish table for most of the day. Was able to run up my stack for the first half of the day up until about reg. Got to a decent number of chips. I had about 80K to the first break. Had about 100K the second break. I was chilling, and then for some reason right after break ended, it just card dead again, sitting, chilling, and then I got tens again, and maybe I think I could have probably folded. The person that I lost to was one of the two guys that had made it from the very beginning of the day at the table with me, so I played with him all day long. Definitely had some of the reads, did not go with my gut. That's one of the lessons I'm going to take away this weekend. There's a couple times where I had a feeling, had the thought, had the read, probably overthought it. Should have just went with my gut. Gonna stick with that. But yeah, had that nasty hand, then that knocked me down to like 4 big blinds, and that was it. That's all she wrote. Couldn't spin it up. So it was honestly, other than the morning of the second bullet, it was pretty uneventful. Just kind of like trying to play solid poker, grinding my way through, not really getting anything to do. And yeah, so it was pretty disappointing. Pretty disappointing main event for me too. It's really disappointing. That's two main event now in a row. Have not been able to bag up for day two, so
Yeah,
pretty
me too.
disappointed. But yeah, so that was it. That was all my bullets. I'm sure you have a couple more stories than that.
Yeah, I mean, my first day one, I don't remember. Like Aaron Zhang was at my first table, and
Mm.
it was really funny. In the first orbit, he had put somebody all in. When we were like 200 big blinds deep in a single raise pot, and he blew some guy off of a set on a 4 flush board. He bluffed with no heart. Um, and, that's Aaron for you. It's super, super tough to play against. I think that I did a little bit punty thing on that very first bullet. I jumped to the second table, and then almost like for no reason at all, I went and like 4-bet ace jack suited. I mean, hijack against button, right? So it wasn't like that terribly out of line. But I did 4-bet ace jack suited against the button. He ended up, but then I 4-bet big to commit myself, and I don't know why I did this when we were probably still like a good 40 something BBs deep. Um, but I made like a 7x raise to commit myself, and then he jammed with kings, and I ended up, basically getting in with ace jack for 40 bigs in the fucking main event. Like, what are you kidding? Like, what's wrong with me? So that was the second bullet, and then, left. Then the day B went better. I only fired one bullet at this guy, and I was playing really well all day. Made it. So before the money, I don't know what happened, but I started playing a little tilty. And I think it was probably just because there was like this one player at my table who kind of gets lucky against me a lot and just plays in sort of a weird, spewy kind of way, and then just kind of keeps getting away with stuff against me. And I think I was just getting a little bit annoyed. I shouldn't have let that tilt me. But then I was getting like soft tilt where I, should have folded a couple of 3 bets, and instead I flatted. And then I would do something like turn a flush draw, so I'd have to like put in another bet. So I kept just like kind of bleeding away chips in spots that are just so like that I don't do.
Hmm.
I went back and looked at a couple of hands. Like one of the hands, it was like hijack against small blind. I had king jack suited, and I felt like it was a close spot, but it probably should have been a fold as player. Um, seemed good and capable, but he was definitely on the snugger side of things. And I think in that spot, he definitely is like way tighter than he's supposed to be. So in that case, it's a clear fold, but it was a mixed strategy. But it was still sort of like a 60 or 70% fold. And I think in real life, I typically falling out almost like 100% of the time, unless I decide that the person's up to no good, and then I'll just rip it. But yeah, it was just a bunch of little hands like that, and I would raise a couple of hands I probably shouldn't have from early position. I don't really know what was going on with me, but then I just bled off a whole bunch of chips. I ended up making the money, um, thankfully. So I got two of the buy-ins back, so that was good. And then I ended up finally getting kings. I was actually like pretty card dead all the way through this, and I finally got kings with like 8 bigs or something. I ended up just min raising. Player on the button ships, small blind reships button. Oh, and actually no, the button clicked it. The small blind shipped with a covering stack, and then the button called. Side called with king jack suited against ace queen against my kings, and then ace hit the flop and busted me. So that was also extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, and then had to,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's interesting though. You're talking about it. What it sounds like is, to me, it sounds like you're kind of making a lot of fatigue mistakes, right? Just sort of some like
it could be.
exhaustion mistakes, and
Yeah,
I just find that interesting because as someone who you have acknowledged, I think a number of times that you kind of get tired at the end of these long
yeah,
days, right? And all of this,
yeah.
you need your recharge, you need your rest. So I'm surprised that you didn't build in or plan ahead to build in some rest into your schedule a little more.
Yeah. There has been zero rest days. It's just like literally every day poker, poker, poker. And it's also I'm like I'm not busting early in any of these things,
Right,
right?
so you don't get that rest too.
So I'm actually cashing. I literally cash in every single event except for one, and then even that one, I think I don't remember. But anyways, it's just been like super long days every single day. So yeah, I know exhaustion definitely plays a factor in it as well. Um, yeah. So anyways, and then like day C, yeah, day C of the first bullet, I wasn't like that spewy with it, but definitely played a little bit on the looser side of things. And then the last and final bullet, I did play like super snug and super solid, was able to fence my way all the way through. And then I'm just kind of busting, probably like 10, 15 off the money or something. Again, on another extremely like frustrating day. But yeah, you know, I guess it is what it is. Poker, you can't really choose which tournaments you do well in, right? I don't even want to say it was like the level of competition or something because the 1K I did like perfectly fine, right? It just sometimes cards don't go your way. Sometimes you're just tired or tilted on those given days. But this is why the mental game is so important. It's just like why study and do all these things if you're going to devolve into your C game when you get tired and tilted.
Hmm. Um. Oh man, Frank, good eye then. If there was anything there, good eye. So, PSA, if you haven't seen, or if you're watching later, someone in the chat says that they caught two guys who have been targeting LA casino folks going home after winning. So, just remember, guys, if you're out there, if you're playing in these big high-profile events, you have a good score. Be careful who's around, who can see it, who can tell you got that score, and be careful when you're leaving the casino, and be aware of your surroundings. It's unfortunately that kind of world. Um, yeah, so I had an interesting spot. I did have one interesting spot that I ran by you guys. A extremely wild player was at my table on my second bullet, and this is when I was doing pretty well. I was stacked up. I just lost a few pots, so I was no longer like a big chip leader at my table. I think I had about 75, 78. I think I had about 78K, and it was at the 800-ish level. I think it was 800 level. So I had around 100 big blinds. Most of the table was sitting on 50 or less, 50K or less. A player, so this wild player opens to 5x under the gun. So it's 800. He opens to 4K. Next player, and he had done that the previous hand. He had opened to 4K the previous hand from +1. I believe it folded around or was done on the flop. May have been like flop, massive bet, folds. Does it again next hand. 4K, +1 to his left, makes it 8K. I look down at queens, and if it wasn't for that guy +1 raising, I probably would just raise. Large bet usually means they obviously like their hand. It's probably like ace king or like a tens or any kind of pair. Anyways, queen's just too good to fold against one person, especially wild player. So I would have probably just made it a fairly large raise, got in easily. But since the +1 had raised, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I decided maybe I would just call and evaluate. So I call, goes all the way back around to the opener, and the clock had rung out for the break at this time, and made some jokes about the clock, jokes about the break. And he says, he's like, oh, well, it's the last hand before break. I guess I'm all in. And he jams for what was about 39K more, so like roughly 47,000, 48,000. So, we're talking like 55 big blinds or so.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so +1 folds. And I'm thinking like, wow, 55 big blinds, open under the gun, huge, gets 3 bets, makes the speech. Guy starts walking all around. So I wasn't quite sure what to do. I think in a cheaper bet, I would have just snap called. I think if I was I wished I was shorter, because if I had less chips than his jam, I would have just jammed in the first place. I wouldn't even have to worry about it, or I would just snap call. But having those chips and still, even after the fold, still being a chip leader at the table, a table that I had been doing really well at already, been mostly pushing around, so to speak. I think at one point, Jeremy old Hambone sat next to me, and he was counting. He said I won like 5 or 6 hands in a row, no showdown against this table. So it kind of tilted me to fold, but I don't know. Like, what do you think? What would you do? What's the standard spot in there? The standard spot would probably be to 3-bet, but if you 3-bet, is it committing, or is it 3-bet folded under the gun jam? What would a standard play be with that formation? I mean, there's no standard play because who opens to 5x under the gun, right?
Sure. It would be a 4-bet, right?
Yeah, it would have been a 4-bet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the standard play is 4-bet and jacks is a fold. But I
Jacks a
also
fold and queens is a call. Standard.
I think queens is either a rip or a non all-in raise, but I don't think you're flatting. But I also don't think that most players are wide enough 3-betting UTG 1.
Right.
Because people won't take a king queen off and like maybe an ace 10 off and maybe a couple of those like sevens or something, right?
Yep.
And turn those into a 3-bet to mix those.
And that UTG 1 had about, I think, 45K to start the hand. So.
Right. So in that case, when it's even tighter, maybe queen starts creeping into a fold. I don't know. Like, I would have to kind of node lock it and look, but it's very possible that queen starts to fold a little bit if UTG 1 is like way too tight.
Right.
So your call actually maybe is rational because of what your read was in the spot. But if it was just like a purely theoretical play, then you should have either ripped it or 3 or 4-bet it.
Yeah, and that min raise there really threw me off. Like I was prepared for the opener. He did it the last hand. He was doing it that hand. I'm against a player who's makes big bets and is fairly wild. I'm at peace with let's just gamble. But like with that +1. Doing that, and he was one of the newer players at the table. The original raiser was someone who'd been at the table since the very beginning, so I was pretty familiar with this game, and I'd played with someone I recognized. But the +1 I wasn't as familiar with, someone who just kind of sat there more recently within the last hour, so it was really kind of messed with me. It turns out in this particular hand, if I believe him, and I think I saw and believe what they had. The +1 who folded quickly said he actually had 9s. And I believe the under the gun player, I think he had 10s, to be honest. But I will tell you this, a couple orbits later, probably 2 hours later or so, he had 100K, and he did the exact same thing. He opened under the gun for 4 to 5x, with the blinds much larger now. The next player raised him fairly large. I remember, he opened to 10K, and the blinds were 2x. So he made it 5x under the gun. Got raised by the next player, the +1, so exact same formation. I had trash, it didn't matter to me. Came back around, he jammed, the other guy jammed, and under the gun, crazy wild guy, 5x, had kings, +1 had aces, that's what I was expecting to happen when I had the queens, right? I'm like, look, if under the gun makes it 10x and at 1700, or 5x, and then +1 raises him, That's what I'm expecting, and that's what happened. And obviously, in this hand, a king came out, and this crazy guy got the double and knocked the other guy
He
out.
does.
But
Yeah.
so that's that hand. The
You know
good
what? You
hands
know
are
what's
in there.
actually
The kings are in there.
you, you know what's actually really funny is that it wasn't the same kind of situation, but there was a raise under the gun. I had three bet with queens, and then some guy who I'd like never seen before. This is at the bike, and probably one of the quantums, ripped for like 25 BB from the button, and UTG folded, and I tank folded queens, which was just insane. Like my read was just like, I've never seen this guy before. He doesn't look like a wild player. This has to be aces, kings, ace, king.
Right.
If that's the range, queens is a fold.
Right.
It's literally on those three hands. Um, I folded and he flipped over tens.
I
And
don't
after that
understand
hand,
tens.
yeah, tens. So after that hand, this is like probably 3 years ago. I was like, I'm never folding queens with anybody ever fucking again. So that's been kind of like that where I don't think I've folded queens since.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is about tens this weekend, man. I saw so many people power jamming tens out of nowhere, and it worked out for everyone but me. I swear, I saw this same wild player, like 4-bet rip for. I think it was a good 70-ish bigs again. This was even later than the 2K blind level. It's probably the 3K blind level or 4K blind
Yeah.
level or something. He ripped for a good, no, it's probably 3K, against a early open and an early 3-bet. Ripped with tens, got called by ace king, won the flip, so he massively stacked up there with that one. And then I saw our buddy Jesse, Mr. Jesus Delgado. He's not in the chat today, but he jammed. He didn't actually jam. He He made some big calls. He got 3-bet huge, or did he get 4-bet? He got 3-bet huge out of the blinds. Called the double barrel all in on the turn with the tens and held against ace king as well for a massive double. Just like everybody's winning with the tens and smashing them in there except for me. I was just getting killed with them. So it's like, what am I? Geez, I guess I should just be jamming them in there too. Good things happen. People keep folding queens. You and I keep folding queens, and when the ace king calls, apparently everyone else wins the flips. Our time is coming.
This series, I 4-bet ace jack, king jack off, and king queen off. The king queen off and the king jack off are on the button, and the ace jack we already talked about. And there's probably been a couple of other spicy 4-bets that I put in there. So I'm definitely pulling out stuff that I don't typically pull out because of the caliber of players that are in town. But then also maybe I'm just being a little bit too wide and loose and tilty.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll say it's the caliber of the players for sure. All right. So we mentioned the player of the year. So I don't have an updated sheet because despite the fact that Commerce is submitting to Hendon, for some reason Hendon is not updating very quickly. I don't know what's going on. Maybe their intern is sick, but we haven't been able to get the results in Hendon for me to pull in. However, if you take a look at these and then you take into account Frank has been counting his own stats. As you know, Frank final tabled the opener and has a couple other, pretty much every single event cashed. He and Derek and Elvin are pulled neck and neck and neck and neck. They're right in there together. We're not sure where Elvin's newest high finish puts him, but Derek had that final table as well since then. So things are...
I've actually 2 final tables since then.
Yeah, it's 2 final tables, so things are very tight. And then if you look here, though, we have Paul. He was right here, number 3. And there's actually a surprise contender out there for the player of the year. Could anybody please help me locate Mr. Folk Nguyen? Not Fuok. You see, we got Fuok, but Mr. Folk Nguyen. He has cashed several times at the winning in the green, and the Big Poker October, which counts for this as well. So he has a number of finishes here, including a 14th and a 21st. This Mr. Folk Nguyen has, I believe, in the 600s. I just had him. His point tally is in the 600s. So, assuming this is a typo by the bike, which I do believe it is. There you go. 673 points. Assuming this is a typo on the part of the bike, and I'm pretty sure it is because I don't think there's a Fouk Nguyen who does well in these events. We need to combine these totals. So Paul here actually should have another 670 points here, which would bring his total. He actually would be the number one as of this posting, if that is true. Now, we need to get confirmation. So if someone from the bike, Larry, if you're watching this, if you could help us out, or even next time we see Paul, we need to put this Hendon up in front of his face and get him to verify this is indeed him. And we can combine these because that is going to put him right at the top with you guys.
I definitely don't want to. I definitely want to make sure that we're getting everything right. But I also am going to say 673 points on top of that number seems not possible.
Well, I mean, all we have to do, and once it's all done, we'll go through all the top people and do them all individually.
You kind of compare the body of work between like Elvin, myself, and Frank, and like what we've kind of done in terms of like deep finishes. To be that far ahead of us already without doing anything really significant in the circuit seems
none
insane.
of the circuit events are registered yet, right? And Paul's got his points, right? He's got his things, and I did verify that Paul has no caches recorded in the winning on the green series, whereas Paul with an OU instead of a UO does have these caches, right? So, I mean,
it's entirely possible.
Yep. Yep. And of course, as we've stated, once these are all done, we will take the top couple. Yeah. See, No Way is. I know that as well. No Way. I told these guys that is the case. That he does deliberately misrepresent his Hendon sometimes, and I might tell him if he's not willing to combine his Hendon and fix his name officially, he won't get the points because that was the rule. You have to be in Hendon. If it's an honest mistake, we'll combine them. If it's purposeful, then I say they're separate people, honestly. If you can't have it both ways, man. But we will take a look at that. And yeah, once we have the top couple folks, we'll take the ones that are really close, and we will individually go down their Hendon results for that profile itself instead of doing it the way I had been doing it to double check and verify points. So, and on that note, the trophy has been ordered. It's not here yet. I can't show you, but it has been ordered. It's on its way. I'm not sure if it'll get here before the summer, but the idea is to give it out in one of the first series here in LA after the summer. So keep an eye out for that.
It's gonna look good on this bookshelf, though.
If it goes to Derek, I was gonna plan all this fun stuff and try and make it really cool. If it goes to Derek, I'm just gonna leave it in the box.
Throw it at me.
He can just pick it up. Like he can just come pick it up himself.
It's in the parking lot at the conference.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be like that. In fact, if it goes to Derek, I'm gonna let Rick Meshamil decide how to present it.
I really think. Frank, let's calculate the points or estimate them somehow because I really need to know like how close we are. It's very important actually that we know how close we are like neck to neck.
Yeah.
Right now.
If you guys just do your own, just do your own, right? Go to that web. Yeah. All you have to do is start with the circuit because everything else should be in there. Start with the point total on the spreadsheet and go take your individual results that you know and plug them into the website and just add them. Just keep adding them. That'll be your unofficial total.
Yeah.
Yep. You just need to know the entries, the buy-in, and your place. Assuming you cashed, because you have to cash.
I don't know. I don't remember what my place was in any of them.
If you don't know your place, you're not going to be able to get your points.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think I took a picture of a couple of them, so I have to go look.
Yeah. You need to know your place. Frank has all the results, though. I think he has the printout sheets for all the results for everything, so he could actually do it too. And then the only hiccup is if the World Series does like the bike and doesn't like multiple, if you cashed bullet two of the flights in the opener and they don't want to say that unless you bagged,
it would be bad. So yeah, I really hope that they're gonna well, I didn't do any multi bagging on the day ones. It was only a single bag, so I'm hoping they at least count the single bags.
Gotcha. All right. Yep, that would be the hope. All right. So the next thing that's going to happen after this, of course, is the World Series itself. So quick little PSA, if you haven't done it yet, make sure if you're going to the World Series this summer, download the World Series of Poker Plus app, get it set up. I still need to do this myself. Going to do that this week. Get yourself set up, get your account set up, figure out all of your accounts and payment methods. This is how you register now. This is the best way to register now. And honestly, it's pretty exciting. You can now register through your phone with like straight up bank transfers, with credit cards, with you can get credit card points for this. It's unclear whether it's a foreign transaction or not, but it it works. I've seen people on Twitter saying that it's working well. You can register way ahead of time. You're going to be able to get all the information. You're going to be able to get your seat. You're going to be able to see the alternate lines. This is the way they are doing it. It looks awesome. Get yourself set up, do it ahead of time, and make sure that you don't have any problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually just gonna wait till I get there, but you're right. Maybe I should just try to set it up before.
Yeah, I mean you can set it up and you can register for the event before you even leave. I mean on your drive or whatever, you know.
Oh, but don't you need to check in or something first before you?
Okay, there's a chance that you have to do something for the first time,
verify
but
the
that may
first
only be
time,
for
yeah.
certain types of payment methods, and that may only be like that may only be for certain features. Now, I'm not an expert. Go check Kev Math's site. Go come to the World Series site. But I do know that they are using the World Series of Poker Plus app for everything. So,
Yeah.
yep. And yes, they are accepting credit cards. To Derek's point, maybe you have to check in person first. I don't think you do, but maybe you do. And check it out, figure it out.
Yeah, they've always actually accepted credit cards, but Kev Math was basically saying they're waiving the fees, which is humongous. So this is why, like, if this is true and there's literally no fees, you should definitely check if your credit card will maybe charge you something extra or
Yeah, to
something.
get the
But
points.
get the points. Your credit card points is
Get a
insane.
couple
Yeah.
percentage points, get a couple percent off. They did say, I think someone hinted that the fees would be coming. Maybe they're waiving the fees right now just to get people to use it. I don't know. So, okay, yeah. So how did they afford it? No way. They make so much money. I don't know. Also, it's GG now. It's GG money. So they could write off they can write off the entire summer as a marketing thing. So.
Yeah, I remember when I first told Ty this, he's like, they're going to take it out of the rake. And I was like, no. but that was his first instinct. That was Ty's first instinct. They have to get the money back somehow.
Yeah. Then just up that. What up, Brad?
What's up, Brad?
All right. Cool. I think, that's about all I've got.
Well, actually, no. One other PSA.
Oh, we have another one? All
So I was talking to Kevin today at the Commerce, and apparently you can register, like pre-register for tournaments. Like, not we don't have an app or anything, but you can actually go to the cage and then register for a tournament like days or weeks ahead. Obviously your chips are in play, if you do that, so make sure that you kind of get there on time. But this is pretty nice because the bike and the Commerce both had stopped doing that, where I literally couldn't register for a tournament unless it was like 30 minutes before or something like that, right? But now I can register for a tournament a week from now. And I think this is going to just keep happening as long as Cabin is there. So I think that's actually huge. I hate like rushing to the casino on a Saturday morning, trying to beat like 200 people online. Being able to register a night before is like super nice.
Breaking news. This probably happened a half hour ago, but before we wrap up, let's bring it. Oh, Brad, you're spoiling it, man. I figured that was over because I saw you in the chat over there. Don't look at the chat, guys. Just watch. The circuit main at Commerce is now done. Let's take a look.
The normal range. But also, this is like the first time Louis done this. I mean,
Exactly.
I know it's only been like a few hands, but
still though,
alarm bells could be ringing.
Oh shoot!
Oh wow!
He shoves and gets snapped off. Wow, this is a pot for almost all the chips in play.
Yeah, this is the tournament more or less.
I mean, Art is going to have 5 blinds left if he does not find a 4 or some other way to win this pot. If somehow he does suck out, then the tournament is over. And wow, what a 6 spot for Louis.
Yeah, crazy. Louis, 80% from the ring, $370,000.
6 spot.
6 of spades, queen of spades, 6.
Art's got some backdoors though. He's got a backdoor flush draw.
Needs a spade.
Queen away from being
Needs a
counterfeit.
spade or a 4, 12%.
Oh my
wow.
gosh. Full house on the turn for Art.
We need a 6.
And this thing's going to be over right now unless Louis finds a 6 or a 10.
Yeah, it's wow.
That was brutal.
Can you imagine?
And the river is a brick.
Wow.
That's what was second place? Probably 200 grand or so. So that was probably like $140,000 turn card right there. Holy cow. So brutal. absolutely brutal. So congratulations to Art winning the main event, just coming out, jumping in the tournament streets for probably the first time all year and just taking it down. That's how it's done. Just snap your 4 on the turn, get it done. Well done.
It kind of sucks to get all the way down there deep. I think as it puts into perspective all our bad beats and everything, you see something like that heads up for, WSOPC main event ring and a ton of money up top, 300K up top.
Yeah.
The kind of just stuff happens. It's poker.
Just sick. And yeah, that was $110,000 turn card right there.
Yeah.
Just taking a look. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you just imagine what it feels like to get it in like that, and then you're just like, oh, here it is, I'm gonna get it, and then bam, at 2 hours. Brutal.
Oh boy. And what did I tell? There were 10s. Okay, they were losing. It's not just me losing, but 10s have been such a big hand this freaking weekend. I don't understand. 10s are like the pivotal hand. Okay. All right. Well, that is what we have.
Wait, one other thing. Yesterday, so I was.
Man, this is great, Derek. Every time I say you got anything, you got nothing. This week you're just like, stop.
Well, I was playing the 100K and ran fucking super bad in this one too. Although I did like cash in it, but yesterday I hit sets twice with 4s, and I have not been hitting sets at all this series. I hit sets twice with 4s, and then a third time with 4s. There was a jam. No, I raised, jam, rejam, and then I was just like, should I call with the 4s because I've been hitting sets, and I didn't.
One of us.
Yeah, one of us.
And you instantly regretted it.
And it's funny because there was 10s. It was like ace jack or something, or ace queen and 10s, and then I rivered a 4. I would have rivered a 4. It was a massive pot.
That's fine. I don't know what it is about this weekend, man. I'm telling you, fortune tellers. If I'd visited a fortune teller and they nailed it, they could have made me a believer this weekend. Because I was at a table, one of the tables I was at this weekend also. 4s were huge. 3 or 4 times hitting that set in the first, within 2 hours of me sitting there. Not me having them, but just, when people were flipping over sets of 4s. So
it's kind of weird that 4s and 10s have a weird, I don't know what's going on with them in the series, but like 4s and 10s are the 2 big hands. But then just to finish off my bad beat stories, I got down, I was actually up to 200K, 220K or something. Raise queens. Actually, no, it was raise. 3-bet queens, small blind jam for like 15 bigs. Gets back to me, I called. She had 7s. Turned it straight. I got crippled all the way down to like, I don't know, like 8 BBs or something. It was really annoying. I probably would have 300K stack. And then table broke, got moved to a new table. I got queens again. I raise off of 8 BBs. This crazy guy decides to just rip it with ace 10 offsuit. We were probably like, I don't know, 10 away from day 2. And there were a bunch of covering stacks behind him, and he just ripped ace 10 offsuit, called with queens, and then he flopped an ace and busted me. So yeah, it was really brutal just to get queens twice like that deep. That's what happened last night. But anyways, I still feel like 4s and 10s are just a weird hand this series. Weird hands.
I have no sympathy for your queen's hand because the final bullet I busted on the opening weekend was with queens, 2 black queens in my hand against 2 red queens. So I don't want to hear it. I don't hear it. Look, guys, do you want to hear the bad beat stories? If you like the bad beat stories, hit the like button. If you don't like them, hit the like button. Let us know in the comments and in the chat. Do you like these? Because Derek has so many bad beat stories he's been holding back. He's been holding them back. I tell him to don't tell so many. It's going to take up all our time. But if you like them, let us know.
I could do a full episode. I could do a full episode every week on just bad beats.
Let us know. Because, that queen's hand for me, that was when the reg was still open, and I just decided to go downstairs and just play cash or something because that was it. It was the same guy, too. I should have knocked him out 1 level ago. I have him completely dead. I don't remember even what I had. Maybe I might even had queens again. I don't know. It's probably kings. I had some big pair. He had some nothing. He spiked something. I don't know what it was. He just probably 9s versus like aces or something. I think that's what it was. Spikes on me. And then the same guy gets me queens versus queens. That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to decide to wait for another day. Okay. we do have another thing to say before we head into the actual roundup, and that is next week we will be doing the show on Monday night, Memorial Day night, because Tuesday night I will actually be heading out of town, and that will begin the World Series in Vegas. During the World Series, there aren't really any events happening around LA. Everything slows down a little bit, just dailies, and we'll only be getting results from Kevin, so not a lot to do. So the roundup will be dialing it down a little bit. We'll be spending a lot of time in Vegas ourselves, and we'll be going to we'll probably be going to every other week schedule. So keep an eye on the Twitter, keep an eye on the Instagram. We'll announce when we're having the shows if we need to move the schedule around, but we'll pull back a little bit, take a little bit of a break to be doing a lot more traveling, getting to Vegas and back, and other various summery things happening. Yep. So, all right, let's get to the roundup. Okay, so as you all know, the World Series circuit is still going on. We are currently just wrapped up the main, and tomorrow on Wednesday, there will be an 8 max high roller, $2,200 buy-in, 2-day event starting at 11 a.m. I know Derek will be there. Frank just won a satellite for it, so I'm sure he'll be there too. In fact, he still has his Commerce Pro, so he has 2 bullets ready to go for that guy. Also on Wednesday, there will be landmark mega satellites into the actual World Series main event, so look for those. That is going to be happening at 4 o'clock, $1,100 buy-in, 2 seats guaranteed. Unlike the satellites into the Mega Millions, I have a feeling these are not going to overlay. And then there will be another one, they're doing a step satellite with 3 seats guaranteed, so a satellite into the 1K satellite, and that will be at 7 p.m., so I'm assuming that will get you into Thursday's satellite. Speaking of Thursday, there's a XL Bounty ring event happening at 11. That is a $600 buy-in, with the bounties are going to be 1K when you're in the money. That is a ring event starting at 11, and then they will be doing another step satellite, $150 step satellite at 3 p.m. for the World Series main satty, which will be happening at 7, the 2-seat guaranteed World Series main satellite. Then Friday, they will be having an 8 max at 11 a.m., a 1-day ring event. That is a $600 buy-in. And then at 4 p.m., they will be doing their tag team no limit hold'em, 200 tag team no limit. And that is on Friday at 4. And it looks like, that entry fee is $400 total, so that's $200 a person, $400 a team. Derek and I do plan on entering that as a LA Poker Roundup team, so if you want to play against us, come on down. We should be there. I can't guarantee how long we'll be in it, but definitely until Reg is over, so come on down. I might be there a little late. I've got a number of appointments earlier in the day, but I will be there roughly around 4, ready to go. And then as soon as Derek is out of the 8 max, he will be ready to go. So if he's running deep, it might just be me playing for a while. And if he is not running deep and I am running late, it might just be him playing for a while. But we'll be there. We'll see you all there. Should be a fun event. I've never played a tag team, so usually around LA, they're usually on Tuesdays, so I can never play them. So should be a good time.
You know what, Ty? I'd be happy to get a ring with you, buddy. Let's do it.
I would too, but unfortunately, this is not a ring event.
What?
It's not a ring event, Derek. Does that mean you're not in? Do I need a new partner?
I'm in. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not a ring event. It doesn't have an official number on it. But it could be good practice.
Why?
You know, if it goes well, maybe we could play the bracelet event this summer. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that.
And you know what we need to do? We need to think. We need to check the trunk of your car to see if we have any merch laying around. Maybe we can give the team that knocks our final bullet out or something, some merch or something. I don't know.
I think there's still like 4 or 5 gray ones in the box.
Yeah, so we'll have to think of something. Maybe there'll be some. Maybe we can put a bounty on ourselves, or maybe we can do something fun like that.
Yeah.
All right, and then the final event, Saturday, 10 a.m. This is the one I was talking about earlier. 1-day ring event. It's a $400 buy-in, just like the others, right? So remember, all the other $400 buy-ins, I think the biggest one that we saw there had 178,000 prize pool, right? This one actually has a 100K guarantee. So, assuming everyone hasn't left town yet, this is going to be massive. Even if everyone has left town, LA can blow this thing up. So let's go, people. Let me look at the stacks. You start with, how many chips do we start with? We don't start with too many chips. 40,000 in tournament chips. Okay, that's a bit much. That's a lot of chips. I honestly was hoping it'd be 30, because then we could really blast and get this prize pool huge. 40,000 still less than usual though. Typically around LA, this is a 50K starting stack. So this is going to be big, guys. Bring it in. Let's go. They are 20-minute levels, but as we pointed out, it's a great structure. Not many skipped levels, especially compared to what we're used to here in LA. So this is going to be big. Get ready. Buckle up. Get a lot of rest. All right. So that will be it for the circuit at Commerce. Heading over to the Hollywood Park. This is Memorial Day weekend. And as we said, Memorial Day, Hollywood Park will be doing its 50K guarantee Memorial Day mystery bounty on Monday. So that will be a $420 buy-in. And yeah, mystery bounty. I didn't realize it was a mystery bounty. Now I'm less excited personally, but I might still go. And aside from that, they're doing their regular events all weekend, the 8K, 10K, and 10K on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Over at Lucky Lady, they on Sunday will be having their 20K guarantee. And aside from that, they just have their regular tournaments throughout the weekend. So Saturday, they have their 20K guarantee. Everything else should be normal. Same at the Gardens. They should be having their regular weekly tournament schedule down there as well. And they always get a good turnout. We just don't hear anything about them anymore. All right. And yeah, enjoy your Memorial Days. Aside from that, everyone, hopefully if you're not playing cards, you're having a nice time, enjoying the outdoors, enjoying family, getting some relaxation and some rest. Derek's going to need some rest. He might sleep through the entire week up until the World Series starts.
Yeah, I definitely need some time away from poker after this series. It's been and we're not done yet.
Yep, it ain't over yet. We don't quit at halftime. All right. That's it though for this show. We are done. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for hanging out and chat. We will see you over at Commerce, trying to get these last couple rings. We'll see you at the tag team event, and we will see you at the tables.
See you at the tables, everyone.